Welcome to Essential Think. This video will go through 5 key steps that you need to take if you hate your job. Let's cut straight to the point. So the weekend is almost over, you're sitting at home and watching a movie on a Sunday night, and you remember tomorrow is Monday and you need to get up early. Suddenly you feel like there is a huge hole in your stomach and the feeling of dread and frustration just washes over you as you realize that you need to get to work first thing in the morning. Okay, it's pretty simple. You hate your job. The thought of going into that office or into that building makes you feel like you would rather spend the whole day chopping wood or do whatever else, just not spend another day at your job. Now, this is a pretty vivid and radical description of what your day at work might make you feel, and if you really are experiencing extreme working conditions, then the only obvious solution to your problem would be to simply quit and start looking for another job. However, before you get up and leave, let's just say that, more often than not, the negative feelings people have about their jobs greatly differ from one person to the next, and some people simply don't have the luxury to just pack up and leave every time things get difficult. Various issues like a heavy workload or difficult colleagues or an obnoxious boss, all of these things can make or break your day at work. If you're at a point where you really hate your job, before you hand in your resignation, you should really analyze and assess the things that are making you unhappy. So here are 5 important steps you should take if you hate your job, before you decide to quit. Step number 1. Analyze your current situation. Okay, this one seems pretty obvious, but sometimes we get so preoccupied by our troubles that we forget to determine what exactly is causing us distress. That's why it's so important to ask yourself the difficult questions before you decide to quit and leave. Do you hate the type of work you're doing, or is it your employer who you don't like? Is there some specific duty that you deeply dislike, or do you find your job disappointing as a whole? Try to look outside of your working role and explore the industry or the job market you're in. Knowing what is happening around you can lead you to new opportunities or a better job position within the company. Or you might realize that your company is actually not growing or not allowing enough room for professional growth, and that might push you in the opposite direction. Whatever the outcome may be, asking yourself these questions will provide a good basis for future improvements. Which leads us to step number 2. Address the problem directly. Once you have identified what it is that is making you hate your job and is causing you distress, it's time to confront the problem directly and have that difficult conversation with your boss or your manager. Is your workload too big? Are your co-workers not doing their part of the job? Do you feel you're not properly compensated for the work you've been doing? Whatever the reason for your dissatisfaction may be, don't just go in and complain to your boss. Make sure you have precise points and ideas about what is bothering you and have an honest conversation with your manager about the potential solution to your problem. Ask them for their opinion on the matter and show that you're willing to participate in finding a solution and not only trying to put the blame on someone else. Such an approach can potentially create a solution to your problem and increase your satisfaction with your job. Nevertheless, if you find your working environment to be truly toxic and unable to improve, you can always consider involving a third party, such as human resources or a company union, to make sure your legal rights are kept intact. Step number 3. Expand your skill set. When you're in a situation where you hate your job, it's a good strategy to concentrate on developing new skills that might make you a more valuable asset in your future endeavors, whether it's a new position in your current company or a fresh start somewhere else. Ask yourself, do I have the skills and the knowledge to move away from the job I'm doing right now? If not, then create a plan to get that additional education, or a degree or a certificate, which will allow you to move to a better or higher paying position. In addition, by focusing on developing new skills, you will spend less time thinking about your current job position. Take one small step at a time, whether it's watching a tutorial online, or reading a book, or talking to someone in the field you're interested in. These small actions will have a compounding effect over time and become a serious asset in your professional life. Before we move on, if you're enjoying this video, please take a few seconds to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Moving on to step number 4. Identify your goal. If you decide to follow these steps chronologically, then the next very important step is to establish a goal. You need to identify your objective ahead of time, whether it's changing your job or starting your own business and becoming your own boss. Whatever it is, this following stage is to try to achieve that goal. Now, it doesn't really matter what the time frame is. Maybe you want to change your job in a few months or in 2 years. The point is, you have a certain date in mind and you want to be ready to accomplish your goal when that date comes. The key step here is to concentrate on that target and spend every day thinking about how you can get closer to it. Focusing on the final task you wish to accomplish instead of thinking about your current situation all the time will give you a renewed sense of purpose, and the time you spend at your job will feel less gloomy and boring. And step number 5. Start looking for new opportunities. So let's assume you've come to the conclusion that your current job is unsalvageable and that you need to move on. As soon as you become confident in your decision, you need to start networking. For example, you could reach out to your past employer and check if your old job is still available. Or you could talk to people from other departments and see if the working conditions are better over there. Let the people you trust know that you're searching for a new job, and make sure you freshen up your resume and your LinkedIn profile, essentially using all your trustworthy connections to create new opportunities for yourself. But remember, stay discreet and don't tell everyone that you're planning to quit your job until you're actually ready to make the move. And also try to stay professional, and even though you probably want to, don't bash your previous employer. Keeping a professional reputation will benefit you in the long run. And finally, just take your time while looking for a new job until a good opportunity presents itself. You don't want to rush into something that might prove to be a bad fit and replace one lousy job with another one. Needless to say, take care of yourself and your health during all of these steps, and if you feel too overwhelmed or too stressed to move forward, don't hesitate to seek professional help. No matter what you decide to do, the power to change things is in your hands. Hopefully these steps can help you, and if you want to know how to deal with burnout at work, I truly recommend you check out the video you see on your screen right now. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, and see you next time.